the Neanderthals originate from. If you don't know, I'll tell you. They derived from the fallen angels. This is something that you're going to have to study pretty extensively. You're going to have to read precept upon precept, in which means verses upon verses. You're going to have to study and understand biblical genealogy. You're going to have to read and discern that the books that have been taken out are Yahuwah inspired, like the book of Enoch, in which just expounds and go into greater depth in regards to the 66 books. Allow me to lead by example using this topic. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 4 reads, "There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohim came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children with them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown." Let's pick up in Enoch chapter 6 where it reads, "And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And Yahuwah said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown." We're going to continue reading in Enoch chapter 7 verse 11. I could not find this chapter and verse online. I'm not sure why. I went ahead and grabbed my Sefer Bible because I didn't want to waste too much more time looking for this chapter and verse. So here we are in Enoch chapter 7 verse 11, and it reads, "And the women conceiving brought forth giants, and they bore to them 3 races first, the great giants. The giants brought forth the Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth the Elioid." And in case you all didn't know, you can do some research. The Elioid is the Neanderthal, and they existed, increasing in power according to their greatness. So initially, the Watchers and the human women of the earth brought forth 3 races of offspring: the giants, the Nephilim, and the Elioids. There's not much mentioned about the Elioids in the Bible, but modern-day researchers have linked them to being the Neanderthals. Now, it just seems like to me that this third hybrid race from the Watchers, called the Elioids, have been now hidden behind the name Neanderthals. Now, after Yahuwah cast the Watchers away for having sexual encounters with the daughters of men, it seems as though they were both, the Watchers as well as their offspring, were struck with leprosy, in which we know leprosy is a curse, and it is the absence of pigment and or white skin. This is why the prophet Enoch described having white skin back in his day as a distinctive trait of the fallen angels. Now, the book of Ezekiel tells us that the angels are brown, so we know that these Watchers, when they fell, they must have been struck with leprosy as well as their offspring. To find out how the Watchers and their offspring may have looked, let's go ahead and take a look at Enoch chapter 105. We're going to read verses 1 through 5. And it reads, "After a time, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him, and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was white as snow, and red as a rose, the hair whose head was white like wool, and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun. The whole house abounded with light." Verse 3, "And when he was taken from the land of the midwife, opening also his mouth, he spoke to Yahuwah of righteousness. Then Lamech his father was afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son unlike to other children. He is not human, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven, is of a different nature from ours, being altogether unlike to us. His eyes are bright as the rays of the sun, his countenance glorious, and he looks not as if he belonged to me, but to the angels. I am afraid lest something miraculous should take place on earth in his days. So as I said previously, this must have been some kind of genetic mutation or, leprosy that happened with the angels that fell and their offspring, because Ezekiel tells us that the angels were brown, but when Lamech's son Noah came out and he was albino, Noah was afraid of him because he did not look brown like everyone else. He looked like the offspring of the fallen ones. So this tells you that everyone was brown until the fallen angels came and were struck with leprosy and bore offspring who were white, and back in ancient times, it was called leprosy. You tell me what race of people look like this and have mixed their DNA with all the other nations of the world. Therefore, since the fallen angels had a genetic mutation that caused them to be white, any nation they integrated with sexually would become white as well. This was the case with Canaan, the fourth son of Ham, whose descendants mated with the fallen ones and produced Nephilim children, and these children were the tall giants that inhabited the land of Canaan. This is why Yahuwah commanded the children of Israel to go and kill all of the Canaanites as well as the other nations living there, because they were contaminated with the seed of the fallen angels, and the Most High did not want the Israelites to contaminate their seed. However, the Israelites did not kill off all of the Canaanites as Yah commanded them. Therefore, the Nephilim descendants of Canaan were able to continue their mixing with the other nations, producing multiple descendants of Neanderthals. Among the many nations that the Canaanites had relations with were the elder two sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog. As a result, the descendants of Gomer and Magog were Neanderthals. Let's turn our attention to who Esau married and mixed his seed with. Let's look at Genesis chapter 36, verses 1 through 3. Now, there's a lot of Israelites that do not believe in basic biology, meaning they do not believe that the mother and father's seed can be mixed, that you're 50% of your mother and 50% of your father. They don't care that science proves that humans have 46 chromosomes in each cell, 23 pairs for a total of 46. You get 23 from your mother and 23 from your father. If your mother and your father are from different nations of people, this will make you a mixed race. So Genesis 36, chapter 1 through 3, it says, Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. Please tell me that you remember that Yahuwah told the Israelites to go and kill all the Canaanites who were mixed with the fallen angels and produced many offspring of Neanderthals. You see, this is why I continue to tell everyone that all these other nations that you see are not considered to be Gentiles. Prior to the fallen angels, there were no white-skinned or pale-skinned people here on the planet. And there has been a continuous mixing and whiting out of the indigenous people of this earth. Let's finish these verses here. It says, Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite, and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. Now this is a glimpse into all the mixing that went on. This was forbidden. The Most High told the Israelites not to mix their seed with the other nations. Now that we know the origin of the Neanderthals, and that they are in fact the ancestors of the Caucasian people, you should no longer be wondering why Esau has no repentance. He mixed his seed with the fallen one's offspring. And as per the book of Obadiah, the The Most High is going to punish Esau for all the violence that he has committed against Jacob. In fact, Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18 says that there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahuwah has spoken.
You mean to tell me that God took his time to make all these different cultures and races and ethnicities and all this type of stuff to tell white people that they can't make it in heaven because of their race? I can throw that God in the trash because I don't want him.
28% Native American.
Whoa!
That's cool. 57% European. 57%. I'm white? Oh, wait. What? 7% Irish.
Oh, you hate everything!
5% Western European. Wait, you're saying a lot of white stuff. Yeah. I'm so confused right now. Wait, you are 7% African. Wait, she's been walking around like, yo, I know I'm black, y'all.
Be another genocide. Or a genocide.
You say genocide, you mean the women, the children, the kids?
Absolutely.
Why? She told me right there.
They're a poison and they need to be eradicated. So my children and all the other white children have a chance in this world.
They say genocide there also.
I'm addicted to eating raw meat. It's delicious, man. This steak was fed a little bit of grain, a little bit of corn, so you can taste sort of the sweetness in the steak. It's basically like very squishy in my mouth, and since it's raw, it just kind of just slides down your throat. You don't really have to chew it out that much. It's a very good feeling. It's it's borderline euphoric. It can feel like very primal. After I eat, I get this urge to just kind of like howl like a wolf, just like,
Science just proved that the Bible was real without even knowing it. Okay, so as y'all know, scientists just found out there's another DNA called Neanderthal DNA. Alright, so now I'm about to tell y'all why science just proved that the Bible was real without even realizing it. So scientists are saying that every race contains Neanderthal DNA. Asians, Latinos, Europeans, Hispanics, and the list goes on. But they also say that every race has Neanderthal DNA except for African modern descendants, aka black people. They really just proven that the Bible really is talking about the black people and how they're the real Hebrew Israelites, the real Jews. No disrespect, but one of the scientists actually noted that it's kind of like them being the pure humans. Hey, that didn't come from me, that they said that. I'm just repeating it. Now let me tell you where Neanderthal blood came from. Neanderthals came from Nephilim. Nephilims came from giants. And giants came from the fallen angels. Now the Bible speaks about how the fallen angels were supposed to be protecting the humans. But instead they began to fancy them and began to do sexual activities with the women and men, creating children. These children became dysfunctional giants, like those of Goliath, the one that David fought in the Bible. The giants soon began to create their own offsprings, creating the Nephilims, which allowed the Nephilims to create kids, which resulted into Neanderthals. Now, Neanderthal skin couldn't expose to the sun, so they had to move to a colder climate, aka the Caucasus Mountains. See where I'm going there? Which is where they got the word Caucasians from. Their skin grew lighter and lighter, which created the lighter skin pigmentation, which a lot of these races and ethnicities carry till this day. The violent offspring produced when wicked angels mated with human women in the days of Noah. The hybrids born from this unnatural union were no ordinary children. Since the Neanderthal blood is still alive, That just proved that some must have lived after the Noah flood. Otherwise, their habitation would have been washed away during this global catastrophe.
This concludes my message for tonight, family. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you all safe.